In the classical music business, music falls into one of two main categories: standard repertoire and new music. Standard repertoire is the stuff you've heard of: Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, Vivaldi's Four Seasons, Mozart's A Little Night Music. There is literally a list, a few hundred compositions, ranked by beauty, compositional quality, audience popularity, and subcategorized based on forces needed. This music is written for a 15-piece string ensemble with harpsichord, while this music calls for a 100-piece full orchestra with choir. Of all the compositions that have ever been written throughout the entire world across multiple centuries, the list of great pieces has been whittled down to a few hundred. And those pieces are played in rotation over and over again. I've lost count of the number of times I have played many of the pieces on the list. Is the list perfect? No. Are there pieces on the list that shouldn't be? Yes. Are there pieces that didn't make the list that should have? Absolutely. Now, the term new music is misleading. You would think that new means new. Music written yesterday or last month, maybe a year ago. And sometimes it means that. But because of the time scale classical music covers, new takes on a completely different meaning. An artist could be performing music written in the 10th century, over 1,000 years ago. So in this context, new music could be something written 50 years ago. The other thing about the new music label is that it implies a certain departure from what makes standard repertoire what it is. Standard repertoire is supposed to be the best of the art form, the most beautiful, the most expressive, and most importantly, the most representative of the styles and musical tastes accepted traditionally. It's no coincidence that to normal ears, much of the classical music heard randomly out in the world sounds similar. Handel sounds like Vivaldi, sounds like Haydn, sounds like Mozart, sounds like Beethoven, sounds like Brahms, sounds like Tchaikovsky, etc., etc., etc. And it's because that music was written basically using the same set of rules, the same compositional techniques, the same musical craft. So, what defines new music, beyond the fact that it was written recently, is that it uses different rules in its construction, different compositional techniques, a different craft. Now, it gets complicated, and I don't want to turn this into a theory lesson. Maybe I'll do that in a future video. But the important thing to understand is that the music produced by these different rules, by these different compositional techniques, by this new craft, can sound radically different from what we're used to hearing, radically different from standard. And here is where things get tricky. Tradition has its advantages. You know what to expect. The rules are clear. And there is a certain power in tradition because it's been vetted, evaluated, and reevaluated across time so that what remains is the most perfect distillation of knowledge from a time now gone. No need to make the same mistakes all over again. The lessons have already been learned, the wisdom already gathered. But often, new music with its new rules and new sounds has none of that. It hasn't been vetted, and it doesn't benefit from traditional rules. It must stand or fall on the quality of the rules and musical craft it creates for itself. And this can cause problems. Some new music is so enamored with its new rules that it loses sight of the musical sounds actually produced by those rules. Moreover, less skilled composers can hide their inadequacies under the umbrella of the new. My music isn't bad. People are just unfamiliar with it. They don't understand what I'm trying to say. It doesn't sound like standard repertoire, so it is automatically dismissed, right? But what if those new rules, specifically created for the occasion, are wrong or actually destructive to creative expression? Suddenly you're listening to very bad music indeed. Not bad because it's new or non-traditional, but bad because it's ineffective. Bad because the music is not capable of evoking in its audience the emotional response it intends to. Bad because the sounds produced are just unpleasant or nonsensical. Its own structures, its own internal workings sabotage its ability to express. The classical music world loves its tradition. It's familiar, predictable, and there's great comfort in that. As a result, we are often reluctant to give new music a chance. As stated earlier, sometimes for very good reason. But there is a place for the new, just like there is a place for the old. The two go hand in hand, the one often shining a light on what's best in the other. If you enjoyed this video or any of the others I make here about music, viola playing, movies, or art in general, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. It's really helpful for a new channel like mine just getting off the ground. And also hit the notification bell so that you are alerted the next time I post. Thanks for watching.